How you doing, everyone? This long-awaited conversation is finally out. Getting your first job in tech with Princess Egbuna. Princess is my former colleague at Andela. Now she works as a software engineer at Well Beyond. She's a very experienced software engineer. She's an amazing person and friend. She's a mother. This was a really interesting conversation. Lots of insight shared. She talked about her story on how she got her first job in tech, what the experience was like, and what you can do if you want to get your first job in tech. So stay with me as we get started. All right, welcome, Princess. It's so good to have you here. How have you been?
I'm doing good, Ebenezer. It's so good to be here too. How are you doing?
Doing fine. A long time. Oh, we saw during the August 27th meetup, but yeah, we had not seen before then, and we've not seen after then.
Yeah, we've not seen after then, and I disappeared after the meetup. So
You did.
I disappeared after my session. Yeah, I
That
remember.
that was when I saw. That was the first time I saw your daughter too. Was it like? Was it like being a dev mom? I can't imagine. Right now you work at Sourcegraph, right? And you also have a daughter you're taking care of and a family. How do you manage to merge everything together so I can also prepare myself?
Oh my God. So I wouldn't say it's been an easy experience for me. It's been a lot of challenges. So when I had her, I remember it was on a Friday, and on
Oh,
Monday I was back at work.
wow.
I was working I was working in the hospital and,
Wow.
trying to also figure out my way around being a new mom. So it's not been an easy journey for me. I think one of the biggest, I would say, advantages that I had kind of was that I had my mom around
Oh, great.
for some time. And yeah, she, supported me while I was working. She was taking care of the baby. And by the time my mom left my house, I tried managing for maybe 1 or 2 months, but I was just going crazy. So I had to get a nanny.
Oh,
So it
awesome.
hasn't been easy, but it's a surreal experience, to bring life into this world. I mean,
I
I
can only
can't.
imagine.
Yeah,
That's amazing. Yep. So I should start getting myself prepared too.
yeah, you should. You should. If it's something that you want to do, yeah.
Okay. And right now you work at OL Beyond. So tell us about your role there.
So about Well Beyond, I actually work as an engineering lead there, and we're building an application that helps people to maintain their water systems themselves.
Oh, cool.
So in communities that do not have access to water, sometimes some people volunteer to build these water systems for them.
Okay.
And one of the biggest challenges that we found is that when these water systems are built, if there's
Yeah.
any problem with it, like you have to fly an expatriate in to try
Oh.
to fix it. So the application that we're building actually helps people to try to fix those problems themselves, get themselves acquainted with water systems, resolve their issues themselves, and
Mm.
reduce the cost of having to fly someone in to fix those water systems, and also, try to give this water system a longer lifespan,
Yeah.
just enable the community to be able to manage their system themselves. So that's what we're doing at Kobe. And
That sounds interesting.
it's really exciting because you get to see the smiles on people's faces when
Oh.
they're able to resolve those issues themselves. So I've always wanted to work at a place where I see I see an impact, I see an impact in people's lives. So I think it's great.
It is.
I love it.
It
Yeah.
is amazing. What countries do you target? Like what countries do you operate in?
So there are a number of countries, right? So basically, the company is located in the US, but
Okay.
the communities that we serve are located in East Africa, a lot of East African countries,
Awesome.
some West African countries, some parts of Asia, and what have you. Yeah.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Yeah, and then before Well Beyond, you worked. I forgot the name of the company you worked before Well Beyond. Worked at before Well Beyond.
I worked at Butterfly before
Yeah,
Well Beyond.
Butterfly. And before Butterfly, you worked at Andela, where we met, right?
Yes,
Great.
yes.
Okay,
You have a good memory.
I try. I try. So, we want to talk about getting your first job in tech. You've worked at a lot of places and you've been very successful. Like, I've seen your work too. You're a good software engineer. And yeah, I want you to bring that experience to my viewers too. Let's discuss. Let's tell people to how can you get your first job in tech. If you're starting out, maybe what's the career path to follow, or you want to get your next job or anything. But this is the general guide. This is how Princess did hers. This is what Princess is advising you to do, and all of that. So, but before that, yeah, I'd love it if you could just tell us about your how it all started, your career path into how did you get into software engineering in the first place, and why this career of all careers? And I know you're good at a lot of things, so why software engineering?
Thank you, Ebenezer. So, a bit of my journey, or a bit about my journey. I'd say that I was kind of lucky.
Oh,
I like to say that I was lucky, because when I was 15, right,
yeah.
my dad got me a laptop as a birthday gift, and that was what sparked my curiosity.
Oh, awesome.
When I was 15 again, I went to the university to study information technology. And at the time, I didn't know anything. I didn't know what I was getting into. I just thought I was going to, have fun with computers and just have fun through school. So that wasn't the case. In fact, I remember that my first class was differential calculus, and I actually cried in that class. Yeah. So somehow I came across programming C, Java, JavaScript, and Android, and oh my God, it was overwhelming. At a point I even thought of dropping out. But
No.
somehow I managed to finish, and I actually finished good. And yeah, after that, I thought I'll just land a job in tech, but that was not the case. You know, I thought I'll just, present my first class and companies would come calling, but it didn't happen like
Oh.
that. I had to put in a lot of work. I started out volunteering,
Mm.
right? Um, So I found a company that was trying to build something in tech, and I volunteered to help out. No pay, they weren't paying me anything, and for the first like 3 months, I was able to gather some experience that would help me even land my next role, right? So after that volunteering experience, I went on to volunteer at another company again.
Okay.
So
Still unpaid.
while doing that, unpaid again. While doing that, right, I was learning and I was also applying for better opportunities.
What
But
were
the
you doing?
better opportunities
What was your
were,
day to day role like? In these volunteering positions.
yeah. So yeah, I was actually writing code, right? I was writing code. I think it was to C sharp at the time. So after that, I I was like, okay, I'm not going to be able. This is not sustainable, right? I have to I have to actively start looking for something.
Okay.
And I started applying everywhere. Wherever I saw an opportunity, I applied. Whether I was qualified or not, I applied for it.
How were you applying? Was it what kind of companies were they in Nigeria? Were you going to submit CVs and all the rest?
So at the time, it was actually in Nigeria because I did not know that I could get a job outside of Nigeria at the time.
Okay.
So my search was mostly in Nigeria. So I wasn't going to submit CVs. I was doing that online. I was doing that online, and after maybe 200 or 300 applications online, I finally got someone saying, "Oh, would you like to interview with us?" And I went into that interview with a lot of fear, right? Because I didn't know if I was qualified. I didn't know what was expected of me,
Okay.
and
What role was that?
it was a software engineering role as well, a position as a software engineer. Well, at that time, people used to copy JDs, right, and paste on their
Yeah.
on their on their jobs. Yeah. So I felt like that's JD was copied from somewhere because it had a lot of things in it, and I was asking myself, would I be able to do this? But then I just went in for that interview, and somehow I passed. And when I started doing the job, it wasn't any of the things on the JD, right? I
Always
actually
happens.
had to learn new skills to adapt.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I stayed there for a while. The salary was little. It wasn't what I expected, but my mindset was I'm not going to be here for long. I'm here
Okay.
to learn. I'm here
Yeah.
to get skills or acquire skills that would enable me get my dream job, right?
Yeah.
So I worked there for maybe 2 years,
That
and then
that's yeah, that's a good amount of time. What do you want to tell us
yes, yes, yes.
about the interview experience? As this was your first interview, right, for your software engineering position, right?
So yeah, I actually think that the person that interviewed me was not also sure of what the position was about. Yeah, because she was looking at the JD and asking me questions based on what was written on the JD, right? Okay,
Oh,
what is this? What is that? And I had already prepared ahead of time, to answer those questions. There was no practical part of it, and this was a time when like software engineering was really new in Nigeria.
no, okay,
Not very new, but relatively new.
yeah.
That was about the interview experience. It wasn't that deep.
That was an amazing journey, really. And yep, like I mentioned, not an easy one too. And since then, you worked at Andela. Yeah, you have to tell us about your Andela experience first of all. What was it like getting into Andela?
So Andela, before joining Andela, right, I heard a lot of stories about Andela, how difficult it is to get into Andela, um, how only talented people get into Andela. And, I was like, okay, I'm just going to give it a shot. If if I get in, fine. If I don't get in, fine. So I applied. And when I applied, I was sent the series of things to
Yeah.
do. I initially thought it was going to be difficult, but somehow it wasn't difficult. And I'd say it was probably because I've been preparing myself for that for a long
Okay.
time. Right. So I already had like software engineering experiences in different companies. So it was a breeze for me. I got in. Um, so I remember that on the last day of the I can't remember what it's called again, but there's this SOIC window
Yeah.
where you get to build something. I can't remember what it's called again. So on the last day, I remember that the facilitator asked, if you're sure that you're going to make it, raise your hand. And I somehow a lot of doubts in my mind, but I just raised my hand. I'm like, it wasn't that difficult. So if they were going to consider the software engineering or technical skills rather, um, I thought I was going to make it. Oh, that was my thought. If they were going to consider other things that I don't know about, like I didn't know what other things they were considering. If
Yeah.
they were going to make their decisions based on that, well, we'll see how it goes. That was just what I thought myself. So somehow I got in. It was an exciting journey. It was an exciting journey during my simulations. It was a breeze because I had been preparing myself for a long time, and I think that that's something that I should talk about.
Okay.
Yes. So there's a lot of preparation that goes into for you to be able to compete with other people. You
Yeah.
should have been preparing for a long time. Get so I had been preparing, and that was what enabled me compete.
Mm.
There were a lot of people that were good also, but they weren't able to get in. So I think that the preparation that I had before that time actually counts.
Yep.
I think it
That's true.
counts. Yeah.
That's true.
So yeah. um. So yeah, that was it about Andela. I don't think I had. I mean, I met you during my time at Andela. We worked together. We built software together,
Yeah.
and it, I wouldn't say that I was like a novice or someone that didn't know anything about software engineering during our time together. I actually had some experience that I brought
Yeah,
to the
that's true.
table. And I think that the preparation that I had before that time
Helped.
actually counted.
See how
Yeah.
all these experience that sometimes when we're going through them we think that they don't matter or they're not counting towards anything.
Exactly. When you're going through it, you wouldn't see the relevance of it when you're going through it, but when you need it, you
Yeah.
look back and be able to know that that experience actually counted a lot or counts.
Yeah, that's true. Myself, I worked as a software engineer and then I had a bootcamp where I taught software engineering. So that's one of the things before I got into Andela. That's one of the things that helped solidify
Exactly.
my knowledge. I had to teach people how to code, so I had to learn very well before I could teach and all that. So all those things they help a lot. So many steps you take, and then you're like, maybe this does not matter. This is even
Exactly.
necessary, or maybe you're like, I'm not seeing
I
money.
actually thought at a point in time too. I thought software engineering at a point in time, or let's say I thought coding at a point in time. I wouldn't say software engineering, yeah. So
Well,
I think that counted.
yep, yep. It does count. There are a lot of advantages to many of these things, like volunteering in communities, contributing to open source, building projects, helping others for free, and all that. A lot of advantages beyond monetary gain, and yep, it all counts. And then yep, you've done like you've worked at a lot of places, so you've done a lot of interviews. What's the Let me ask you this question. What's the worst technical interview you've attended? What's the worst experience been like?
Mm, okay. So I think my worst technical interview was one of the interviews in which I had to build a complete app in 4 hours.
Wow.
So
Why?
it was a requirement. Yeah, I needed to build both the front end, the back end, and the UI was really complex.
Is it
And I
like in
had
front
to,
of them?
you know,
In front of the
hmm?
interviewers? Is it in front of the interviewers? Were you supposed to build this in
No,
front
it's
of?
not. Oh, it wasn't in front of them. They sent it to me, and then as soon as you click on it,
Yeah.
the time starts really, and it was for 4 hours. And I'm like, who does that? So you need time to think about how things are going to work, how things interact. But there was no time to do all that, and the UI was really complex. But I needed to get the UI exactly the way it was. I tried. I tried going through that interview, and um, 3 hours, around 3 hours, 15 minutes into building the app, I stopped and asked myself why I was actually doing
Exactly.
that. Because, yeah. And
Exactly.
I just stopped, I just stopped. I
Yeah.
didn't continue with that. They got back to me. They got back to me like 2 weeks later, and they were asking me why I didn't finish. Yeah. It was
Keep asking why. You ask them whether they could do it themselves.
yeah. It was my worst interview. It was my worst interview
That's
ever,
terrible. I've
and
got.
I still remember that interview till
It's
till
terrible.
today. I don't know why someone would do that. If you want to test if you want to test for a certain knowledge
Yeah.
or competence in someone,
Yeah.
there are different ways to do that apart from building a complete app like front end, back end, database
For
interactions and
us.
all that. No.
I've gotten something like that before. I didn't even bother myself. I like these companies are serious. When you find the engineer you're looking for, then let them work for you. Because there are a lot of companies, a lot of things that many people don't realize. There are so many companies looking for engineers, and you're not going to be a good fit for every one of them. So if you meet the one, and the same way the
You're
company is
right.
testing you, you're also testing the company. Like, is this really what I'm going to be doing there
Exactly.
every day? Is this what working for you is going to be like? And then you try another one and you just keep trying other other
Is
companies.
this what I want to do? Is this what I want to do every day? Is this sustainable?
Yeah.
So one of the things I like about my current company is the flexibility. Like I have to work. I also have to take care of my baby,
Yeah.
and I just find a way to strike a balance between the both. None of them is more important than the other, right? And somehow I've been able to find that balance, and that's the best thing I find about my current company. Not every company is that way. I remember working at a company where um so I when I was pregnant, I was working at a company, and because I couldn't put in the same number of hours that I was working before I became pregnant, um, they kept talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. Okay, you have to work 11 hours. You have to get this done unfailingly by this time. And I had a terrible pregnancy, right? I almost lost my life because of that
Wow.
pregnancy, and I was struggling with that and struggling with work at the same time. At a point, I was like, no, my life is more important, so I left that job.
Yeah.
So like you said, when companies are testing you, you're also testing those companies to see if it's something that you're going to be able to do, and if it's something that's sustainable at the end of the day.
Yep. 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 Exactly. And when it comes to having to choose between maybe your work and your life, or even your baby, that always comes first before work.
Yeah, sometimes.
It has to always go first. Your work, or your life rather, your life and you, yeah. Maybe it depends
Oh,
on
your
the
life always
scenario.
has to come first. Your life always has to come first. Yeah. You can only work if you're alive. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing, amazing. So that's interview experience. But generally, what's a technical interview experience like? Let's say I want to prepare for a technical interview. Um, how do I prepare for a technical? What are the things I need to know? Let's say I want to prepare for. Or let me put it this way: before we get to the general preparation, what about someone who has not worked before? I've not gotten a software, been in an official software engineering role before. What are the things to know? How do I prepare?
So so I think that if you're new to the space and
Yeah,
you've not had any work experience,
yeah.
I think that one of the things that you can leverage is social media, your social network,
Okay.
putting yourself out there, learning in public. So, for someone who has not had any experience on you to at least get something done,
Okay.
you know, you don't have to do it the best way, but you should be able to at least get it done, right? So, I think that learning in public is one of the things that I've seen work best for newbies. Um, Putting out the things that you've learned, gathering feedback from people, and trying to implement that feedback. People are always watching. I mean, people are always looking at the things you do. They might not interact with what you're doing at the moment, but when there's something to be done, you will be remembered. You get so I think that learning in public helps helps you to land your first role as a newbie in tech. I also think that attending events, meeting people, talking
Okay.
to people
Yeah.
also helps because some of the really good jobs that I've gotten were from my networking experiences with people,
Okay.
talking to people and telling them what I'm looking out for, so that when they come across such opportunities, your name also comes up. So I think that's one of the things those are some of the
Great.
things that would help if you're
Yeah.
a newbie. I also think that LinkedIn is a great place,
Okay.
sometimes. Yeah, so if you can, it would be great to, put your work or some of your work on LinkedIn, revamp your profile, um, comment on people's posts.
Okay.
When sometimes when you comment on people's posts, like other people that are connections to that person get to see your comments,
Yeah.
and your name just keeps coming up, and with time you would get something. So I think those are some of the things that would help if you're really new in the
Okay.
space. Yeah.
Great. And then, what if I want to start applying for jobs? How do I know when I'm ready? How do I start applying?
um Nobody is ever ready.
Okay.
Nobody is ever ready. So I think that um first of all, you should have built something, right? Just by yourself. You should
Okay.
have built something, or um, understood the concept of even building, right?
Okay.
Before you start. But once you understand these concepts, once you build something by yourself, you
Yeah.
can only add to that knowledge. You're not totally a novice. What you can do is add to the knowledge that you have. So once you've built something, you're ready to start applying. And when I
Okay.
say build something, I don't mean like you go watch a tutorial and
And
replicate
exactly
what
what's
was done
there.
in that tutorial. Yeah. So when you've actually built something, I think you're ready to start applying. And applying can be so if you ask people that have applied a lot of times, they'll tell you that they applied maybe for 200 jobs and got only one interview, right?
Yeah.
Like I have also had similar experiences. So what I do is, even if even if I have a job, I keep applying, right? I like having those interviews to find my knowledge gaps, right? The
Okay.
things that I don't know, some of the things that people are looking out for that I don't have any idea about.
Yeah.
And since it takes a really long time, maybe at least maybe okay, if you're constantly applying, it might take maybe 2 to 3 months to even get one interview. But if you're just casually applying, which is
Yeah.
what I do, you might get one interview in like 6 months, right?
Okay.
And yeah, I think that you can always test out your knowledge once in 6 months. I just see it as an opportunity to see what's going on in the industry and
Yeah.
keep myself abreast of what's going on out there. So even when I'm currently on a role or in a company, I still apply because I just want to know what's
Yeah.
going on.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, that
Yes.
makes sense. Okay. That's been really great applying for a job and like like your experience where you applied for over 200 jobs before you got an interview and many people that's a common experience. A lot of people they apply for like one role or two roles and they're like no one is accepting me, nobody wants me. So every
Get
successful
yourself
software.
acquainted with. Unfortunately,
Yeah. Most or almost all successful software engineers you see out there, they applied for a lot of roles before getting into. Even though you see work at maybe the FANG companies or what they call them these days, a FANG or something. Someone gave the FANG companies a new abbreviation, which is a fat man, which stands for Amazon, Facebook, Apple, um, T for something T, I don't know, then MAN. It ended up being a fat man. But many people who work in these companies, they've applied for a lot of roles, applied to so many companies, a lot of applications, maybe get one interview out of it or two interviews, and then many people feel even those software engineers you see out there that you love, you're like, this is the kind of engineer I want to be like. They've failed. I wouldn't use the word fail, but they've gone through technical interviews, and then the companies will end up saying, "We don't think you're the great fit for us, the best fit for us." So that's normal. You apply, you keep applying, and then you keep building your knowledge. Like you said, you try to build a project. Test out your knowledge. Look at the job requirements. See the things you can cover and all that. And beside your work as a software engineer, being a dev mom, navigating through all this, you even do other things outside of tech. I know you're a businesswoman, but you also contribute to developer communities in Nigeria. Here, I know about Open Source Community Africa. I had Edith Young before now. She's also part of the people building Oscar, and it's really amazing work you're doing there. Do you want to tell us about your role there, what you've done so far? I've been at one of Oscar meetups as a speaker too, and that was you're the one who invited me. That was amazing. So, what's it like building Oscar?
um, so so Open Source Community Africa exists to um, encourage and not just encourage people to get Africans involved in the art of building. So a lot of times we consume without building. So what we're trying to do is to get more people to build, right? Um, so my role at Oscar currently, I worked with communities. Currently, I work with engineering as the engineering lead for Oscar. Even though currently, because of my baby, I've not been very active, but
Okay.
that's what I do for Oscar. I did engineering, oversee community projects, software
Okay.
engineering projects that are going on. Liaise with communities to the community team to, get people to actually contribute to some of the projects that we have.
Okay.
You know. And then every other thing that engineering leads to review pull requests, document processes, create and document processes. Yeah, that's what I do.
That's great. And then you also speak at conferences, talks. You were one of the speakers at the Web Stack meetup, which is amazing. So,
Yes, yes. That is something that I love doing, like sharing my knowledge or sharing something that I've learned. So I have spoken at a number of conferences, a lot actually. Of recent, I have kind of been away from the community because again of my baby.
yeah.
Well, hopefully that changes soon. Yeah, that's going to change soon. I'm going to be back like maybe in 1 month's time because my baby is of age right now.
Amazing. Looking forward to that. This has been a very
Yeah,
insightful.
I look
Yo,
forward to it too. Yeah.
okay, something I forgot to ask. Are there any recommended job application sites you want to share?
Hmm. Recommended sites. So what I recommend is so it depends on the kind of role you're looking out for, right? Um, if you know the role you're looking out for, let's say front end engineer, for example,
Yeah.
you're looking out for a front end engineering role. So what I do is sometimes is um, go to maybe Glassdoor and
Okay.
then look at companies. And then when I look at the company, I look at I open a different web page and then search for that company.
Okay.
And if it's something that I like, or if it's a company that I like, I look at their careers page and see the careers that they or the roles that they have open.
Okay.
So there's no specific sites that I go to and decide to look for jobs there. Even if you have like a LinkedIn alerts for a certain type of role, what I
Yeah.
also do is like when I see those roles, I actually go look at the company and then
Okay.
go to their careers page. Sometimes like jobs might be open on LinkedIn, but they're no longer open on the company page.
Yeah.
So actually look at the company, go to the careers page, see what
Okay.
they have there, and then apply from their website. I almost never apply from any other third party sites. Yeah, I like to go directly.
Yeah. I think with that method you take your time with the applications, and
Yes, yes, yes.
nice, nice, nice.
I
That's
do.
Yep, that's awesome. Remember, LinkedIn is always there too. You see the rules. You go to the website. Try to make your application personal. I think that helps a lot. And this has been amazing. This has been amazing. I'm sure we've all learned a lot, and I'd love to have you here again, again. Is there
I would love to. Okay,
Okay.
again.
Is there anything you want us to is there anything you're working on that you want us to check out? Anything you want to blog?
Currently I'm not working on anything. Everything is currently on hold. It's just work, baby, and like I said, I'll be back in 1 month time.
Yeah. So I know you're planning to start writing articles. Have you bought a domain name? Maybe we should keep our eyes on it, to monitor whenever you share an article. Is there a domain name out there already?
There's not the meaning.
Okay.
There's one actually, but I'm not sharing it. I'm not sharing it before I go and cast myself.
All right.
Mm,
All right then.
yeah.
But we can follow you on Twitter, right? And LinkedIn.
Yes, yes, Twitter and LinkedIn.
Oh, great. I'm gonna add the links to your social media handle in the description. Awesome, awesome, awesome. This has this has been an amazing chat. Thank you very much, Princess, for coming and for doing this with me.
Thank you. Thank you. I loved having this conversation. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, not a lot of people watched to the end. Thank you for joining us. Now I need you to help me share my channel. If you like the content I put out there, if you like what I do, please tell someone about my channel today. I want you to help me do this and help others in the process too. So see you in my next video. Bye.